RockCellarTV, 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 RockCellarTV.
When was the first time you heard Poco's music on the radio?
Well, you know, back then radio was different than it is now. Well, of course, there was AM radio and FM radio. AM radio was for the records with the big hole in them, as Neil used to call it. And those were the hit singles and the chart records. And then there's this new form of radio called FM radio that played, you know, album cuts and played. We were a big hit on FM radio, but not a big hit on AM radio. And, you know, later on, like the Eagles, they knew how to make AM music, and it served them well. But for us, it was FM radio, and that's what kept us alive. Was this, and it was really cool because FM radio was hip. We were huge on college campuses, you know, and we were the underground hip new thing, and so that was great.
So was it the thinking, perhaps because there was that hip FM underground that you're talking about, that maybe the thought of tailoring the songs to make them more commercial wasn't really yet in your thinking, in the band's thinking?
No. Richie was very frustrated by the fact that, you know, he hadn't written that we didn't have an AM hit, and ultimately that's why he left the band. When we did a song called "Good Feeling to Know," everyone at radio said that this is your first big hit. This is going to be it. And when we released it, it didn't even make the top 100, and so it was very discouraging, and especially to Richie, you know. And so no, that was you didn't sell big records, you know, well, Santana did in Chicago, being on both formats. But you really had to hit the AM format to sell those huge numbers of records that those guys were selling.
But it was an interesting time back then, too, where labels gave bands time to evolve, where today it's kind of like you have to have a hit record first time out or you're gone. There wasn't that patience. Do you feel that, you know, that's something missing from today, where record companies would really nurture artists and, you know, may say, hey, the first record may not happen, the second may not happen, maybe the third won't happen, but we believe in this act?
Mm-hmm. That did happen, yeah. But that would be because there's an A&R guy at that label who believed in you, and he'd get in there and fight for you. If that A&R guy got fired or moved to another label, you were history. You were out of there. So, I mean, there was the allegiances. But, you know, I don't think there was as many bands, as much music as there is now. You know, it doesn't seem like it looking back on it. You know, it was us, Flying Burrito Brothers, and the Eagles out here on the West Coast, and that was pretty much it. You know, later on, Dillard and Clark, Manassas, that came along, you know, a little later on. But even then, there's 5 bands. You know, it just wasn't like today, where there's, you know, so much music, so much great music. You know.
What do you think the biggest crowd you guys ever played in front of was?
Atlanta Pop Festival. Really? Yeah. Played in between Jimi Hendrix and the Chambers Brothers. Nice spot, huh? Thanks a lot. Yeah, it was pretty thrilling.
How many people did you play?
You know, there's somewhere around 400,000 people. And it was wild. It was a really wild thing. You know, all the swimming pools at the hotels within 50 miles were black because the people would get all dirty and muddy, and then they'd jump in the swimming pool in order to clean off. And it was one of the most humiliating nights of my life, though, because, you know, it was so huge that they'd pick you up in a helicopter at the hotel and take you to the backstage area. And, you know, we went out there to get picked up, and it wasn't big enough to take 5 of us. So I volunteered to stay back. You know, okay, well, you know, I'll take the next flight when it comes in. And so the guys go off, and the helicopter comes back, and up races this golf cart. And on the golf cart was Alice Cooper's Snake. Yeah, Alice Cooper's Snake. And they said, sorry, Rusty, you're going to have to take the golf cart through the crowd to the stage because the snake gets the helicopter. Take that, ego, you know. I've never recovered.
RockCellarTV, 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 RockCellarTV.